Okay. So tell me some of your story, how you became a Christian. Normally, I actually go into the gospel, but I just feel led to kind of ask you that, and even just how you've been dealing with cancer too. And you two can like split the answers.
Well, I was saved in 1995. Um, I was an alcoholic, a drug addict. Kinds of, I don't know, probably a lot of labels they could put on me. It was more of a head knowledge. It wasn't. I didn't really give up. I didn't really totally give him my whole. There's some beautiful. Look at the sun right there. Beautiful. Wow.
Oh yeah.
Rays of hope right there. Uh, so yeah, it was basically. It wasn't a. It wasn't a. I would say it was a genuine conversion. It was genuine, but it more head knowledge.
Okay.
I understood that Jesus was real and who he was in a way that what he was here for, but I didn't know him personally, really, and really understand the love of Christ, the love of God, until about 2017. Because prior to that, 2016, I was at an all-time low. We were separated for since 2009, 10 for about at that time, yeah, for a total of about 10 years and a couple years after that too. But I had nothing, I had no family, I had really no friends. In fact, when I was very young, I made a pact with the devil and didn't realize I did in a way that, he promised to take care of me. And I just kind of agreed to him. I mean, I have a gift of discernment so I can see, hear things in the spirit. Actually, he came and visited me in my bedroom one time. And, it was really, I said, okay, I was like, I could feel the fear. I mean, but I was so overwhelmed with the fear and also overwhelmed at the same time, just getting sick and tired of feeling the fear, the demonic around me all the time. They said, oh, just come and get me. But after I said that, I heard him say, Chris, right outside my door. My door was over about that much. And I could hear his voice. And it wasn't my parents or anybody. They were in bed. This was right at 10, 11 o'clock. I was about 6 years old. So I ended up, after that, there's certain decisions I made which kind of led on to that agreement with him that he would take care of me. And then after that, I struggled with depression, anxiety, and basically turned off my emotions for a majority of my life. Um, and relationships too, because I was hard time trusting people, and authority figures let me down. My parents and a lot of other people did. So I just shut myself off, and at an early age. So, well, that brings me back to 2016. I was like, yeah, when I grew up, there's about 20 times where I thought about killing myself. So I didn't, obviously. So I was at a church, a local church here where I had my hometown. And I said, Lord, man, I'm tired, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I just want to give up my life. And prior to this, 2000, 2009, 2010-ish, the end of 2009, I was diagnosed with bipolar type 1. And I said, Lord, what are you going to do with that? This is back 2017, sorry, in April, around Easter. I think it was Easter, actually. And Easter, I got saved in 1995. It's just a little weird. So Easter's a special date. Um, he said, Chris, it was almost audible, but it was in my heart. It was audible. You just heard it in your imagination. That's how you hear soft, that still small voice that the Bible talks about. And he said, I said, what about the Bible? He said, Chris, I'll take care of that. Didn't realize what was coming, because for the next 2, 3 months, I was still alone in the house because she was living with her mom at the time, and I was delivered of demons. I would cough things up and stuff, and I didn't exactly know what was going on for that period. The Lord said, just trust me. So I just trusted him, and he told me what he was doing. for that for about a two. I guess the summer of 2017, I was a huge. During that time, I would sometimes once a week, I'd almost like have a schedule. I would just think, okay, the Lord would tell me, and I feel like, okay, just sit down, lay down on the floor, and you just start delivering me stuff. I mean, I had a legion of stuff in me because of that pact I had with the six. Again, I was in spiritual torment, mental torment for most of my life. I had spiritual anxiety, drug addiction, all this other stuff. I couldn't even talk to people. Couldn't communicate. Really, I was just playing on. So that yeah, too, but it was that during that summer, basically within about a 2 week period. Only way I can describe it is kind of it's hard to explain what happened spiritually. Um, During that time, and I can't really put the events chronologically, it was just kind of a blur to me. It was just because I was really coming out of a mental disorder like that, where you're paranoid. It's a lot of this. You hear stuff. I didn't necessarily see things, but I could feel things. I still do, but now I'm on this side of it. I have the Lord to kind of have a foundation for that. It's a gift. It's a gift of discernment, basically. A lot of people, I believe a lot of people with schizophrenia and mental disorders like that, like bipolar, they're just gifted. They don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to process it. So, anyway, so within about 2 week period, he lifted me out. I can describe it as like a river muck with that bipolar. Just lifted me out, and he showed me his he showed me his ocean of love that he had for me. This individual, he just threw me into it, and I had to learn how to swim in it. And it was like what he was trying to do is just trying to build, just in his way, it was showing me how to have faith in him, this trust, because you go from complete darkness to complete light. It's very traumatizing to your spirit, to your physical body. For about 3-4 months, I was discombobulated. I was beside myself. I didn't know how to act because I come out of such a deep darkness into this it's like the sun comes out. But it's not unlike that where you're blinded like this, and as you're squinting, that's how it kind of was. And spiritually, I was speaking, and emotionally, I was kind of squinting, kind of like, I don't know how to navigate. I can't see really well. And that was because what it did is it birthed, a love for people, a love for myself, first of all. And then I could love other people. And it was like, oh my gosh, everything was just completely changed. So, yeah, and then summer, I'm trying to think now, logically here. I got based in my awakening, and I started to get more of a kingdom mindset, understanding what the kingdom of God is. That's taught in certain sectors now. Bethel Church in Reading is a huge one that kind of introduced a lot of that teaching. Where I learned a lot of that, the Lord just downloaded the whole. This is funny because I used to poo-poo on all like prophecy, all this other stuff. Rail on people on Facebook. I was just nasty to people that was just that believed that kind of thing, and I was very pharisaical, and I had a really strong religious kind of spirit. Because I saw nobody really taught me what really Christianity was. I just thought, well, it's a bunch of do's and don'ts. So since '95, for that 7-year period, I was like, okay, you don't do this, you do that, you don't do that. It's very ritualistic, very rules based. It's the same, living under the law, just under the New Testament times. So now he gave me that knowledge and gave me that revelation that it's not about. He doesn't give a crap about what you do. He wants your heart. He wants a true relationship with you. He wants you to abandon everything. And once I did that, that's when. Once I made that decision back in Easter 2017, the bipolar left, everything left. went to my psychiatrist, and she said, "You're fine." So I have a documented healing of bipolar disorder. Um, so, can you add anything? I've been kind of.
Right on there, you make me cry. Yeah, I can just say that he's a totally different person. And I remember when he was sharing
We
some of
got
it.
married in '90.
Yeah.
So
And so because of the bipolar, that's why we were separated. There was a lot of like, because there was anger and things that would come
good
through
punch
that.
walls. It
Yeah.
wasn't abuse of them. It was just nasty. It was just punch
Yeah.
walls, and I didn't know
Yeah.
how to deal with. It's kind of like what that gift can do. The discernment gift can, if the enemy has control of you, and a lot of baggage in your
Allow it.
life that you haven't dealt with, you haven't had a lot of healing in your life, you can capitalize on that. Basically, you feel all the bad and not any of the good. And I felt tense all the time, and it felt like tune a radio station in the car, the static, and that's how I felt. I heard all the time with this,
Yeah.
and any little thing would just set me off. So, but once that awakening happened, and he cleansed me a lot of the demonic activity, I started seeing things how he sees me. First of all, I started seeing myself how he sees me. Then I started seeing other people how he sees them. And more importantly, I started seeing him how he really was, and how he is the creator, how he really is, and that it just blossomed. Everything blossomed from there. I started learning, what it was, what callings. That this is a gift. It's not a curse. Why do I feel all this stuff? Ever since I was a kid, I just feel I could read people's minds sometimes. I could just know what they were thinking sometimes. It was that strong. And I would also use it to my advantage too. Sometimes I would, manipulate people. I could. Now I use it for his good. He tells me things, shows me things, and I pray for him. And that's how I knew you were a Christian. But I could just tell. I just feel it. Just tell. But so I just for those 5 years. Since then, I found a church. Her mom passed away in 2019, and so my daughter and her need somewhere to go. So they came back, and for about a year, there was pretty rough because she wasn't seeing me, the change in me. She was still hurt and bitter from the past,
Trauma.
And
There was a
trauma.
lot of trauma.
and things like that. That some of it I caused, some of it was from her, and so but nevertheless, a lot of it was still there. I got in contact with a good church here in town. Got a life coach, and he led me
Yeah.
through a lot of healing,
Yeah.
a ton of healing for about 2 year period. And during that time, for about a year and a half, I would fast a meal a day. The Lord kind of put in my heart to do that fast, and kind of more of a prophetic act. We call it more of a, I guess, a prophetic act. It's more of a, this is what I'm dedicating this to my family to get them healed up, everybody healed up. Because we were all, my daughter was, I don't think she really understood what was going on. But now everything's fine. The daughter's relationship is great. Our relationship is great. And we we reconciled. And she started going to the same person that I was, same life coach, and he helped her out a lot with some things. Once she got rid of some of her baggage, some of her
Fear.
basically it's just false beliefs about who you are with people. It's like, that's a lot of it is. And they just lead you through it, through the healing process of things. And you start seeing things like things that happen to you, like traumas or abuse things, and with the knowledge of who Jesus right there, he was with you the whole time.
Yeah.
Once you kind of have that experience, it's more of that awakening, a realization that he cares, that he really loves you. Once he reveals his heart to you, the trauma goes away, because the trauma is a spirit.
Yeah.
A lot of it is. That's all a spirit. What it does is it wants to kill, wants to just steal, kill, and destroy. That's what it wants to do. Trauma does.
Yeah.
Same with fear and everything else. So anyway, she got, I don't know, 6 months or something like that. It took for a little while. Then And then, man, it's just a complete change. And now, I mean, even now I pinch myself sometimes because it was tough. It was tough for me to be, because she was just angry, and it's a lot of anger toward you. You know, it's because I wouldn't want to go home because I didn't know how she was going to react to me if I would, you know, I wouldn't do anything. I wasn't like the same person, but she just had a hard time seeing it, her own pain. But she got healed of that. Now it's
Yeah.
amazing. So